Hey guys, I just wanted to record this so that you could review it later if you wanted to, or if you are a student joining the class late, like you weren't here for the first day when I went over the whole thing, or for parents who may need to listen to this later, and when you guys go back and complete your quiz, this would be helpful. So we'll go over the whole thing. First of all, I think this is really important. What will we cover in class? Now, this semester, I do have my upper level classes also, but in Interior 1, I find that I often get kids who don't know what we're even going to go over in the class. And then they get irritated when we don't. Someone interrupted me. I forget what I was saying. Something about kids get upset when we don't go over what they thought we were going to go over. So here is the literal list of what we're going to go over in class, okay? This is exactly what it's going to be. So Interior 1 is kind of the biggest list. I know it looks equal to Interior 2. That's ID 1, ID 2. But it's really bigger than ID2 because you have to learn all these basics in Interior 1 in order to be able to apply them in Interior 2. So on your first level, you learn all these little details, all the info, all the laying out of things, all the categories of stuff. That way, in the next level, you're able to go ahead and do tons of projects with them. We do a lot of projects in Interior 1. They're just smaller projects. Whereas Interior 2 is really big projects. It's like mostly projects. And then the third one, Interior Digital Applications, because I've got all levels watching this video. That one is completely on the computer using the SketchUp and Revit programs. Grading. Okay, this is kind of my soapbox in a way. So summative assessments will receive a grade. So basically that's tests and projects, essentially. That's what a summative assessment is, an assessment that you take at the end of learning something. Formative assessments, which would be like worksheets, classwork, quizzes, you get feedback on them, but you don't get a grade for them because the purpose of those should be you're in the process of learning. You have not learned it all yet. You are still working on it. They are a practice to get ready for summative assessments, which are your grades. That's when you're showing how well you learned everything. Okay? These theories are they're education in general, but they're really, really prominent in what is called standards-based grading, which is what I use. I'm going to briefly explain that here. But there's also a link on the slides to a video of someone else explaining about it. You can look all over YouTube about it. So essentially, it is getting past the idea that you have to get certain numbers in order to say you've learned something. So, getting a 100 just because you completed a task does not mean that you learned it at all. So in this situation, you get scores based on how you have proven that you have learned a concept. So that's why we do the quizzes and the worksheets and the projects to build your knowledge, practice that knowledge, and then you perform it on a test or project. So in theory, you can keep redoing grades, assignments to get better and better and better. Like you keep practicing. And then your grades will change. They will keep improving. So whatever score you have on an assignment is the level you currently know that topic. Okay? So say we learn about colors and that just blows your mind at the beginning and you just don't get it. And we take a quiz on it and maybe you score a 59 on your quiz. Well, I'm not going to put a 59 in your PowerSchool grade book, it'll show as like it doesn't include in the final grade, but I'm going to show you that you're at the level of a 59. Just to show you like, hey, you should probably improve. Let's work on this some more. So you could redo that quiz and get higher and higher and higher until you have 100 on it. You understand it really well. You want to be able to have hundreds on all of these things by the time it's time to take the test or do the project with this topic. That way, in theory, you should also make 100 on the test or project, the summative assessment, which is what actually counts in PowerSchool, okay? But if at some point, when we take this test on color and you make a 79 on it, well, that means you know it like a level 79 out of 100. But maybe later in the semester, color all of a sudden just clicks and you know it really well. And you say, Ms. Willis, I think I understand color really well now. Can I retake that color test? Yes, you can. And guess what? Your grade will change with it. Because that grade should show exactly where you are at that moment as far as your knowledge on that topic. Okay? So by this method, all the grades in PowerSchool will only be these numbers on the screen, 100, 89, 79, 69, 59, or 0. So that's because, if I give you an 85, is that really, going to affect your grade that much more than an 89? No, probably not. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you the highest B, essentially. That's why you get the 89 rather than an 85, okay? So if you make a 0, the only way you will get a 0 in this class is if you did not even attempt the work. You have 0 knowledge on this topic because you did nothing to show me you have any knowledge on this topic. If you just barely attempted it and struggled really bad on it, where you may have scored like a 12, you would get a 59 because you're at that 59 level. Now, you're going to have to work and work and work and work a lot longer to get past that 59 level because you're going from 12 to surpass 59, but it's not a 0, and that's good. So last 2 bullets here is, redos are strongly encouraged, which I kind of already said that because we're trying to show the current accurate grade of your knowledge on a topic. And the last bullet is I will not be putting grades in Google Classroom. No numbers at all, just feedback, like comments. And this is because Google Classroom doesn't calculate grades in the same ways that I want my PowerSchool to calculate grades, that I have my PowerSchool set up to calculate grades, so they're never going to match up perfectly. And I don't want students getting confused thinking, well, Classroom says I have a 95, but PowerSchool says I have a 73, and so they think they're fine because they have a 95 in Classroom, but PowerSchool is their real actual score. So in order to just not ever be confused, I'm not going to put any grades in Classroom. It will only be in PowerSchool. Okay, that's my grading soapbox. All right, we should move a little faster now. So what are my policies, like some just general Willis rules? I don't do extra credit because that would make your grade look fake. It would embellish it. It wouldn't be accurate. If you're absent, you're still expected to make up the work. We record class every day. I post recordings like this all the time, like every night. You could email me for your work. We have the afternoon enrichment. So if you're absent today, you come to enrichment the next time you can to make up the work. Done. Problem solved. Or while we're virtual, you call in the afternoon. Okay, so there's all these ways to make up your absentee work. So it's never just oh, I was absent, don't have to do it. No, you still have to do it. If you are supposed to be in class, this is when we're back in person. If you're supposed to be in class, but you're not going to be for whatever reason, you missed your bus, you're feeling kind of sick, so you don't want to go to school and chance it, but you still feel like you could log into your classes, something like that, please email me that morning because I would need to assign you the correct work, like the virtual work rather than the in-person work. Okay, what do we need for class? Like materials. There is a list for each of my classes. ID 1, if you are, say I've got sets for in-person and sets for virtual. They're barely any different. ID1, you're going to need a 1-inch binder, 2 15 by 20-ish black or white foam core boards. I should have got one on camera to show you. I don't have one sitting right here though. And earbuds that work with your Chromebook. Now, you're only going to need these things if we actually end up being back face to face, which I think we will be. We're supposed to be February 1st. I think we will be. So you could hold off on getting them until you know for sure, so you don't waste money. It's up to you. If you're a virtual student, you'll need a spiral notebook, architectural scale, and architectural template. Have stars beside them because they are optional, but I encourage you to buy them because they're a little bit pricey, but they're something that if you're in person we'll be using, and it's something that I found out last semester it was really hard to learn at home without that actual tool. If you don't know what these are, I have links on the next slide. Yay. Interior 2. Please have a small sketchbook. Do I have one here to show you? Nope, I don't. But you know, like not a full-size notebook. Like this was slightly smaller than a regular size notebook. You know, like smallish, a little bit smaller. A sketchbook, you know, does not have lines in it. It's plain paper. It says sketchbook on the front of it. So a small sketchbook, a composition book, which we are all familiar with composition books because you've all taken my class already, and that's this thing. You're going to need 2 big black or white foam cores, like full size 20 by 30s, and earbuds that work with your Chromebook. That's if you are in person. Virtuals, also small sketchbook and composition book and the 2 large foam core. So just not the earbuds. My asterisk here is I recommend a bullet journal. Should have brought one of those for example too. Goodness. I need to do that tomorrow. I'll remember now. There is a link for a bullet journal on the next slide with the links, but I'll bring one to show them in class. Interior digital applications. Last one is you're going to need a Dell laptop and charger, which you're going to get from me when they're available. You're going to need a mouse. I don't know yet if I can get mice for you to use with them. I've asked. They're finding out. So you may need to purchase one. If you have one already, great. Find it. Let's use it. You're going to need a 1/2 inch to 1 inch binder because there's not a ton of papers in this class because it's all digital, but I feel like you don't really need a whole notebook or anything. In fact, you could probably just get away with a folder or a really small binder. Whatever you've got on hand will work. You're also going to need a textbook, which we're going to check out from me when you come pick up your laptop. And I will have to get those things back. All right, here are links to all those things that I just talked about that I thought were kind of like iffy, like you might not know what they were. You do not need to get them from Amazon, but you can. These links are more here just so you could like reference what that was that I was talking about. And again, you know, you can't click this link on this video, but the class information slides are listed in the beginning of the semester materials on Classroom. And the last thing here is, oh, I do have a link. Okay. There's a little link here where I have a classroom wish list on Amazon. If you feel like you are able to purchase a little something for our classroom from that wish list, I'd be very grateful. The students will be very grateful. We have a small budget to work with, but you know, we can't fund everything for, see, I'm teaching 165 kids this semester. I mean, that's a lot of consumables, even on a hybrid schedule. And we're not even allowed to buy everything there is. We're not allowed to buy from Amazon. So the only way I get anything from Amazon is if someone else purchases it. So that's the link if you just want to look at it and see what I've got. You can have it shipped to the school, and I'd really appreciate it. All right, what will class look like each day? So in interior design 1, in the morning, we are going to practice something from your homework topic. So I do what's called a flip classroom, meaning I kind of work in reverse order, which will make sense after I read this whole spiel. We'll do activities together. We'll work on assignments. I teach asynchronously when we're in person, which means if you're in class, you'll do one activity. If you're at home, you'll do a different activity. Sometimes virtual students will do a third activity because they're virtual all the days. But on Wednesdays, we work all together. And while we're virtual right now, we'll work all together. In the afternoon, if you choose to stick around, or if you're at home, you can go ahead and watch the homework video. You can finish work we started in the morning. You can get extra help, redo assignments for a higher grade. Like anything really productive is really good. Homework is every single night except for the weekend, hopefully. I'm going to try to not give any weekend ones this semester. You're going to watch a less than 20-minute video, and you're going to write the notes from it. So this is where the flipped classroom comes in. So you're going to listen to the information at night and write the notes. Then in class the next day, we'll do the activity with it. This is the only solution I have figured out to fit my entire curriculum into half the class time. Like, how am I supposed to fit what I would normally do in 90 minutes every day into 50 minutes every day? That math does not add up, does it? So you're going to listen to the info at night, and we're going to do the activities during the class time. And there's positives, because that means that you can write the notes from the video at your own speed, which is really nice. If you are a slow writer, you can stop and pause that video as many times as you want and write as slow as you want. Make it as colorful as you want. Draw pictures, curly cues, dots, whatever you want to do. You can take your time. And then if you're a fast writer, you don't have to stop and wait for everybody. You can speed it up as fast as you want. So it's a good thing to do it that way, I believe. You just have to get on track to do this. It's not a big deal. It's literally watching a video and writing some words. Not a big deal. But if you don't watch these videos, one, you're not going to know what's going on in class the next day. You're never going to hear the information. We're going to be doing like random activities and you won't know what's going on. And you have to write them down, because you hear something, you learned it once, you see it, you've learned it again, you write it, you've learned it a third time, and then you apply it the next day and you've learned it a fourth time. So doing all these things is important. And if I have you go back and reference your notes, well, if you didn't write them down to have any notes, you can't go back and reference your notes. Guess what? While we're virtual or hybrid, like this whole semester, the class is open note. I can't prevent you from looking at your notes when you take any type of assessment. It would really be in your benefit to have notes. Okay? Hint, hint. Last but not least on this one, in general, there's a lot of information in Interior 1. It's a big one. We do a lot of activities. We do a lot of assignments. We do several projects. Let me say that again. You do projects. I had kids last semester that were mad that we were doing projects. Like, interior design is literally doing a project for your career. Like that's just what it is. So if you're lazy and you don't like projects, this is probably not the class for you, and you are welcome to check with a guidance counselor and see if there's something available for you. We have a lot of classes. It will not hurt my feelings. It's in everybody's best interest to take classes that you want to take, because then you're going to be interested and you're not going to act up for me. Positive for everybody. Okay? So if you're not going to take the initiative to do those things, it's just not going to work. Just being honest. All right, next one. Interior 2. So you guys are going to do kind of a mix. Some days will be synchronous, some days will be asynchronous once we're like back in person, hybrid. It kind of just depends on what we're doing that day, since Interior 2 is such a project-y class, and I have not taught it virtually yet. I had all Interior 1 last semester, so I think it's going to be a mix of both. We'll just see. In the afternoon, same. Finish what you started in the morning, get extra help, redo assignments for a higher grade, work on your weekly sketchbook assignments. That's new. So your homework Every night will be to work on your sketchbook assignments for the week. So every week I'm going to give you, actually they're already posted on Classroom. You've got a list of 4 sketchbook assignments to do, and it's like draw something, make a list of something, draw like some type of picture that says a difference between something, and define 5 words. And you have a list of the definitions. So you're going to keep those things in your sketchbook, and your sketchbook will also serve as just like a general brainstorm situation. So you'll have more than those sketchbook assignments in your sketchbook. You'll just like be using it in class all the time for it could be for notes, it could be to brainstorm, it could be to keep ideas in check, it could be to like put things in there that inspire you. I need to bring some sketchbooks to show you in class tomorrow. And then in general, y'all know how I teach. You've all had me before. There's more projects in this class, like way more. It's almost all projects all the time because you've learned all that information in Interior 1. Now we're applying it. I expect students in this level to take initiative, to enjoy designing, and to jive with the Willis methods, because that's how I roll, and you know how it is now. And yeah, if I don't work for you, then I don't know why you took my class. Last but not least, interior digital applications. Morning, you're going to be given an on your own assignment. You will learn simple information in the morning. You're going to basically compile information needed for class or work on SketchUp, which is the small program we're going to use, especially until you have your laptops, because SketchUp is run on Chromebooks. You're going to join the special Meet link each morning for attendance purposes. It's not the one on your classroom. It's the one for the first period classroom. So you've got just the link, not the classroom code. And in the afternoon, we're going to meet every day together on the Meet from 12:45 to 1:15. If you have issues with that, when I dismissed the other kids this morning, if you have issues about that, we've talked about it. And just in the afternoon, I'll basically answer questions about the video or morning assignments or what you're going to do for your homework video. So for homework, you're going to complete part of a Revit assignment while following along with a video. And again, this is one I've not taught virtually yet. So in theory, this is how it's going to go, but I could see this one changing quite a lot because it's quite different working with the Revit program. So in general, similar. Y'all know how I teach, especially because this is your 3rd level with me. This class is more self-study than the first 2 levels. It is mostly one giant project or 2 or 3 computer projects. You're going to be designing an entire house, which is really cool. But I expect you guys to take initiative, enjoy designing, and, jive with my methods. This is an honors class, so I expect honors brain power, basically. Okay, each class, is there a state final exam? Interior 1, yes, 100 questions state exam made by the state, not me, on a computer that all students you have to come into the school to take. It accounts for 20% of your final grade. Okay, just like normal state exams. Interior 2, no, not a state one. You have a teacher-made exam and what we call a PBM, not PBL, performance-based measure. The PBM will be a giant design portfolio, which is actually going to be really cool to make. So these together will be 20% of your final grade. Digital, what you've got is the Revit Certified User Certification, which is like an industry recognized certification, which is really exciting. That's like a super adult professional thing to do. And a teacher-made exam for your final. So those together are 20% of your final grade. And I think this is the last one. So if you would please join these your correct remind, please, because if I just need to give you a quick reminder about, hey, bring this tomorrow, remember to do this by tonight, don't forget to pick up a foam core board. I use Remind for things like that, or you can message me on Remind if you have like a question and you need a quicker response than email. Because to be honest, I turn my email notifications off my phone because I get them at all times. Like, it was stressful, so I turned them off. So unless I manually go into that app and check it, I might not see your email that day. So if you needed a quick answer, you could send me a message on Remind, and I don't have those turned off. So please don't harass me. Just do it if you really do need a fast answer. Also, okay, there's my email, which you could have found on your own. Classrooms, you are all on them already since you found this. But if you notice the fifth one, ID help sessions, everyone, that is one that I need everybody to join because it can be used various times, like, when teachers are supposed to be online in the afternoon for you to call in for help. Rather than me switching from classroom to classroom to classroom, like throughout the afternoon, I just log into that one and stay on there the whole time, and you can call at any time between 1 and 3. Instead of only being able to call me like during your time slot of like first period or whatever. Or like if we need to combine groups or something, I use it for that. So, and last is I do have a class Instagram. It's got some things we've done in the past on it. Just if you want to peruse it, you're welcome to see what things kind of look like. I would like to start putting some types of questions on there, like review things. But we'll see if it actually happens. But that's my goal. Okay, that is the end of that. So if you have questions, let me know.